Hey guys, it's Natasha, and I have not been on YouTube in a very long time, but welcome back to my channel. I really missed YouTube and I really want to get back into YouTube. I don't want to do the long spiel at the beginning of videos that most people do, being like, where I've been. I've been gone. That's it. I'm just gonna say that. I'm coming back. I really want to get back into filming YouTube tutorials. I have so many ideas for new videos. I've had some people asking me to come back to YouTube, and by some, I mean two. So Sam and Mac, this is for you. I'm just gonna jump into this tutorial. I filmed this look on my face right here. It's just a really fun smoky eye, but with really pretty jewel tone colors. It's a lot of fun. It's been a long time since I've done anything this kind of elaborate and creative, even just in my everyday life. It was really fun to do it for the first time back on YouTube and kind of go through and do a tutorial with you guys. So if you want to see how to get this look, then keep on watching. So I already put my eyebrows on and I put down a eye primer. I personally like to use an actual eye primer. I just use the Urban Decay, this is almost empty, just the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer. I prefer to use that over a concealer because I find on me personally a concealer really creases throughout the day. I have fairly oily eyelids, so I need an actual like really sticky primer to make sure that it doesn't crease throughout the day. If I use a concealer, it's a creasy mess. I started off by putting the primer on. I haven't set it with anything. I'm just gonna go directly in with the colors I'm gonna be using. It's gonna give me a better color payoff if I do that as opposed to if I set it first. It may be a little bit more difficult to blend out, but if you just take your time, shouldn't have an issue. So I'm gonna start off by going in to my ABH Subculture palette. It's a mess because I dropped it and I broke the shade. I can't tip it up, otherwise it's going to fall all over the place. The shade Rowdy, I broke it, so it is a little messy. So I'm gonna go in with the shade Roxy here in the bottom corner, and I'm just gonna zoom you guys in so you can see what I'm actually doing here. Even though I don't really know what I'm doing here, I'm just gonna kind of make it up as I go along. I have an idea in my brain. I just need to see if it's going to transfer into real life. So I'm going in with the Zoeva 224 Luxe Defined Crease Brush. It's just kind of like a flat top fluffy brush, and I'm dipping into that shade just very lightly because if you've ever worked with Subculture before, you know that you get a lot of kickback with it, which is fine. It just means you have a lot of pigment, which is kind of what I'm going for here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place it right kind of in the inner corner crease of my eyeball. So I'm just gonna do that, and just with a very, very light hand, just in circular motions, I'm buffing that into the crease there. And I find if you have difficulties with using a lighter hand with your brush, if you hold your brush further down to the end as opposed to holding it up here. Here it's going to be a lot more difficult to get a really light touch on your brush, whereas if you're holding it down by the base of your brush or at the bottom of your brush, it'll be way easier to use a really light hand. And then if I feel I need to build up the color a little bit more, I can just grab a little bit more of that color on my brush and continue to build it up. I'm kind of bringing it up to the brow bone here a bit too. And I'm really just concentrating this on the inner corner, so I'm not really going past the halfway point of my eye. Just keeping this in the inner corner. So I'm gonna be jumping between a bunch of different palettes for this look. If you don't have them, that's okay. Just try to find similar colors from your collection that you may have. I'm gonna jump in now to the Anastasia Prism palette, and I'm gonna go in with Saturn. If you don't have Subculture and you have this palette, you can substitute Roxy for this color Eden up here. They're pretty similar, and then you can just use this palette. But I'm gonna go in with Saturn here, and I'm just gonna use the same brush. I'm gonna use the same brush, and again, really lightly. I find Prism has a little bit of kickback to it too, and I'm just gonna go kind of more on the actual lid here, just kind of right underneath where I put that first color, and then buffing it a little bit into the crease, but I'm not taking it up as high as I took that first shade. And when I dip my brush into this color, I literally just go tap tap very lightly. If you just lightly tap your brush in, you don't have to worry about picking up too much product and then you're buffing too much product onto the eye, it's too pigmented too quickly, especially when you're working with very pigmented shadows like the Anastasia shadows. It's better to pick up a little bit of product, build it up really slowly. It's going to be a lot easier to kind of blend out the edges that way, and to ensure that you don't have to go in and take out product, which is a lot harder to do than building it up slowly. So I'm going to be going in with my MAC 217 brush now. It's a little dirty like all my brushes, but I'm going to be going in with more of a pinky shade anyways, which is kind of the color that this brush is currently tinted. So I'm going to go in with the shade Lure down here. Again, very just lightly dipping my brush in. And then I'm just going to build this up into kind of right above my crease in the outer corner here and blending it into that first shade. And I'm going to kind of flick this out kind of near the tail of my brow as well, just to create a bit of a wing. This is turning out very iridescent purpley because that's the color I had on this brush before. Not really my intentions, but it's happening now. This is what my life has become. And I'm just gonna do the same thing on the other side, and it's not gonna look the same because I don't have that iridescent purple shade on my brush anymore. Okie dokie, it's fine. We're gonna work with it. This is what happens when you never clean your brushes. I really should clean my brushes at some point in time. I'm just brushing off that first brush we used on a paper towel just to kind of get the excess product off of it. And I'm gonna go back in with that Roxy shade that we first used. And I'm just gonna use that to buff out the edges of this a little bit. I'm gonna go in with the Norvina palette next, and I'm going to use this dark shade in the top corner called Drama. It's got a bit of a shimmer. It's shimmery. It doesn't have a bit of a shimmer, it's shimmery. So I'm gonna go in with that on just a flat shader type brush. This is the Sigma E55 eye shading brush that I'm using. So it's kind of a little bit fluffier. It's not a super dense shading brush, but it'll work for our purposes. And I'm just gonna pack this on the outer corner of the eye. And I'm just going to pack it on to meet up with that color in the inner corner. I haven't done any of my face. I've just applied my face primer, so don't worry if there's any fallout. It'll be really easy to clean up afterwards. But to try and prevent fallout, you really press the brush into the color here and then tap off any excess and then pat it onto your lid as opposed to swiping it. That'll really help prevent a lot of fallout from happening. And just with that MAC 217 brush, I'm just going to use that to buff out the edges in the crease here. I'm not adding any product to this brush, I'm just using the brush itself to buff out those edges. Next I'm going to go in with the shade Celestial here, and I'm just going to use my finger. I find with the Anastasia Beverly Hills shimmery shades, your finger works really, really well for getting the most pigment out of them. So I'm just going to use my finger, pack that on there, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pat this. You can kind of see there's a space in that center there. I'm just going to pack it right on the center of the lid to kind of mesh those two colors together. And then I'm going to bring it more to the outer corner than I am to the inner corner. So start pressing your finger where you want the most color, and then you can kind of tap on the outside and inside of that to blend it out. But I am kind of blending it more on top of that darker shade than I am on the inner corner. And then because we are putting a shimmery shade on top of a matte shade, those don't necessarily blend the greatest. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that finger is not clean at all. It's disgustingly dirty. I'm gonna wipe it off so it's mostly clean. I'm just gonna take a cleaner finger and I'm just going to tap on top of that edge there, just to help blend that a little bit more and soften it so it's not such a harsh transition between matte and shimmer. Okay, I think this is where I'm gonna leave it for what we have going on the lid here. I'm actually I don't know how well you can see, but I'm very impressed. There's absolutely no fallout, and using those techniques of like really pushing the product into the bristles of the brush and tapping off any excess and then also pressing it onto the lid will really help prevent having any fallout. So if you do decide to do your face first, then you shouldn't have too much of an issue, but I'm gonna go ahead right now. I'm just gonna put on mascara and lashes, and then I'm also going to put on my foundation and my concealer, and then we'll finish off the rest of the eye look together. So I will be right back. I'm gonna zoom you guys back in here so we can finish off the eyes. I am going to figure out what I'm doing. Okay, I'm gonna go in to the Prism palette again. I'm gonna go in with the color Throne, which is this beautiful like emerald green shimmer beautifulness. I'm just gonna wipe off the excess color on there on the palm of my hand because I threw out my paper towel and now I don't have one and I don't want to get one. So I am gonna dip that, this brush is a Sigma short shader. I can't read the number, E20 I think. So I'm just gonna dip that into the color Throne here, and I'm going to take that underneath the eye. So I'm going to kind of look more straight on, or kind of hold my mirror. Oops, there goes the brush in the palette. Or I'm gonna kind of hold my mirror above so that I can get right into the lash line there. I'm gonna take this right from the outer corner, and I'm gonna take it about most of the way into the inner corner of my eye. Not all the way, but most of the way. I just want to brighten this up just a tad, but still keep the shimmer going on. So I'm gonna go in, trying not to tip all the Roxy shade out. I'm gonna go in with the shade Electric here. This is in the Subculture palette. And I'm just gonna use a short shader brush for the, oh no, this is a pencil brush, my bad. The last brush was the short shader. This is the E30 from Sigma. This brush is also filthy. Ideally use clean brushes. And I'm just going to sweep this over top just to brighten it up just a tad. It was just looking a little too dark and heavy underneath, I found. So this will keep that green shade. This is kind of like a greeny gold iridescent color. It's really pretty. Layered on top of that deep emerald green shade, it's beautiful. I'm gonna bring this all the way into the inner corner actually, just to keep that green vibe going on the bottom, but then brighten up the inner corner. Okay, so that's it for the face. Nope, that's not it for the face. I always forget bottom mascara, so I'm gonna just pop that on right now. I also find the waterline is looking a little too harsh, so I'm just gonna go in with a black liner. Okay, now I'm done with the eyes, so I'm gonna zoom you guys out. Oh, that's in. I'm gonna zoom you guys out. I'm gonna finish the rest of the face. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with the Milk, what is this? The matte bronzer in the shade Baked. I don't know if there are other shades, but this is the shade I use. And I'm just going to take a Sigma large angled contour brush. I've really been liking this brush for cream bronzers lately. I feel like it packs on just the right amount of color, and I need a mirror again. I feel like it packs on just the right amount of color and it blends it out really, really nicely. So I start by just kind of tapping it on where I want it, more towards my hairline, and then I kind of bring it down and forward, and then I'll kind of buff it more. And I bring it up higher. I start it up higher so that it's not coming down too low and dragging down my cheekbones. And then I'm also going to bring that up onto my forehead in my hairline, if my hair could get out of my way. Thank you so much. And any excess I have left on my brush, I'll just kind of bring it underneath my chin, and then I kind of bring it down on my neck just to kind of blend it all together. I think I put way too much on this side of my face, but it's okay. We'll fix it. I have a solution. Okay, so I'm just gonna take a foundation brush. It's got a little bit of excess product on it. This is just like the one that you got for being VIP Rouge. It's a mini flawless airbrush. I actually really like this brush and would like to have a full size of it, but for now, I just have this. So I'm just gonna use that and kind of tap it over the edges just to soften it a bit because I put way too much product on this side of my face. It happens sometimes to the best of us. I forgot to do this. I'm really obsessed with cream products, especially in the wintertime. It's what I'm gonna be mostly using on my face. So I'm gonna go in with the Nude Sticks Nudies All Over Face color. This is the shade Naughty and Spice. It's just kind of like a nudie pink color. It is covered in cat fluff. Absolutely covered. And I'm just going to, I've got this on all my brushes are Sigma in case you haven't noticed, a Duo Fiber Powder Blush brush. This is the F15. I really like this for cream blush, so I'll just kind of tap it on both sides. Again, build up this color slowly because it can go very wrong very quickly. So I just brush a little bit on either side, and then if I want to build up that color a little bit, start on the apples of my cheeks and kind of tap backwards, and then I can buff a little bit more. I really like to put blush on my nose. I just feel like it gives a way more natural sun-kissed look as opposed to just putting it on your cheeks. I like to brush it across my nose and I feel like it looks really natural and pretty. I like it. I don't know what else to say about it. Next I'm gonna go in with the Nude Sticks. This is the All Over Face color in Hey Honey, and this I'm just gonna use my finger and I'm just going to tap, tap, tap the high points of my face, so kind of on the top of my cheekbone, and then I kind of bring it up over top of my brow bone there. Sometimes I apply this with my fingers. I find it's a little bit more intense of a highlight if you apply it with your fingers. You can also apply it with a damp beauty blender or sponge or something like that, and I find that gives it a little bit of a softer look. I like highlighting the tip of my nose, even though people say you shouldn't do that. I don't care what they say. I'm gonna do it anyways. Do what you like. And then Cupid's bow, whatever's kind of left over on my finger there, I'll just put on a little bit on my chin. I feel like that made my voice sound really funny. What do I want to do? I don't know what I want to do for lips. Do I want more of a pinky gloss or more of a nude gloss? Decisions. I think I'm gonna go pinky actually. I feel like that'll be pretty. Okay. Okay, I have no idea what color this is. Okay, it's like a small little sample size. This is the Buxom Full On Lip Polish in the shade Dolly. It's just kind of like a pinky nude gloss. I'm not gonna line my lips or anything because my lips are cracked and dry. Thank you very much, Winter. How kind of you. So I'm just going to just put the gloss straight on my lips because I feel like if I try to do a lip liner right now, it's just gonna end up looking too dry and patchy and gross. So just gonna go straight in with the gloss. This is basically the color of my lips, just a little bit more pigmented and shiny. Okay guys, so that is everything for this look. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you guys learned something. I'm always trying to be informative, I guess. I have so many ideas for so many other tutorials that I want to do makeup tutorial wise, as well as I want to do some hair tutorials. If you guys want to see those, I hope you want to see them. But if you do, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Also hit that bell button down below. Over here, I don't know where it is. It's down here somewhere. So hit both those buttons down below and then you will know when I upload a video. If I don't upload one weekly, come at me, yell at me, hold me to it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Oliver, please calm down your tail. Please, there's nothing outside. Like, I don't know why your tail is going crazy. Like, you look like you're looking at a bird, but there's no bird. And you keep whacking my brushes and making lots of noise. And I would appreciate if you did not do that. I'm going to pick a brush. Which brush? Where is it? Don't mind me while I just make a lot of noise. I need a mirror. Oh god. I'm holding too many things at once. Shade is falling apart. Pretty sure I'm not in frame. It's okay. It's fine. Ugh. My nose always starts leaking the second I put on foundation. Why does that happen to me? Hold on. Hold, please. Can I say hi? Do you want to say hi? Huh? No, you don't. You don't want to say hi. You hate everything and everyone. Okay.